Apple is getting into the generative AI game. There was huge news if you're an AI artist looking to move to the United States, and we are hosting the biggest AI film competition in history next week. Welcome to your AI film news of the week. We'd like to kick things off by saying thank you so much to Late Arrivals and Adobe for hosting the AI film screening event at the Sony lot. It was amazing to meet so many incredible Curious Refuge students. Thank you so much for coming by and saying hello. We also wrapped on our AI horror film competition at Curious Refuge, and I'd like to extend a huge congratulations to Jonathan Bunio for winning first place. His work on Monsters Anonymous was really incredible, and I'd also like to extend a big congratulations to Bito Pedreca for putting together the film The Framed Presence, and Jason Conan for putting together the Sounds of Hell film. All of the submissions were truly incredible, and it was really hard to pick just 3 winners. But if you didn't have a chance to win this competition, then you'll definitely want to check out this channel next week when we announce the biggest AI film competition in history. We're partnering with a really awesome brand to bring you a really fun holiday film competition. You'll find more information on this channel next week, but you can always subscribe to our email list at Curious Refuge to be the very first one to know. OpenAI also announced that Chat-GPT's generative tools will all be connected in the near future. This has huge implications for filmmakers because you can now workshop with ideas inside of Chat-GPT and then immediately ask to see images of your specific storyboard or visual style that you're going for. It's a multimodal experience where you get to interact with Chat-GPT to get results. So this is going to have huge implications for the future of creativity. We'll let you know when this feature officially drops. A California judge also struck down a class action lawsuit against Midjourney, Stability AI, who puts together Stable Diffusion, and DeviantArt. Here's some of the details. Essentially, the lawsuit was brought up by some artists that were saying that these tools did not have the right to use their art or their imagery to train their models. The judge basically shot down the lawsuit, saying that they didn't have copyrights on their work, but they are allowing them to amend their complaint and refile the papers. So we will likely be seeing more from this ruling very soon. There's also some huge news from Joe Biden as it relates to artificial intelligence in the United States. Now, there's a big executive order with a ton of subpoints that don't really apply to filmmaking. I'm not going to cover those here, but there are a few specific things for filmmakers that I think are very important. The first is AI developers have to share safety results from any internal tests that they run on their AI tools. There's also a mandate to expand workforce training for artificial intelligence to essentially get people up to speed with some of the more complex AI innovations that are happening. There's still no word on if those grants are extended to artists, but we'll let you know if that ever happens. They're also going to help small developers and entrepreneurs who are specifically in the AI space by giving them technical assistance and resources. And they said that they will be expediting visas for anyone trying to get into the United States on an AI job visa. Now, this is really big, and it kind of transitions us to our next bit of news. So our November session of our AI filmmaking course starts on November 7th. This is shaping up to be an incredible session, and we will be getting into even more advanced concepts inside of the November session. But specifically talking about jobs, we had a really cool story this last week where someone shared that they actually landed a job in the industry after just the second week content. So it seems like there is an ever increasing demand for skilled AI artists in the industry. Now, flipping things over to Pika Labs, they hosted their Halloween film competition. I was lucky enough to be asked to be a judge on that competition, and we will share the winners very soon. I should also note that Pika Labs 2.0 is dropping very soon. The results from Pika Labs 2.0 look incredible. It's actually kind of hard to tell what was created using traditional video and what was created using Pika Labs. Matan over at Pika Labs actually put together a demo of an old commercial that he shot versus some of the results that he's getting from Pika Labs, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference. So this technology and this new tool set looks incredibly powerful. The Runway 48-Hour Film Festival also completed last week, and I want to extend a huge congratulations to the creator of 2026, which we actually featured on this channel last week. Runway actually put together a website that features all 65 panelists, so if you want to check that out, be sure to go over to Runway's website. Also, a big congratulations to Joel Petrell for winning our mini competition in AI film news last week. Joel, you'll have some swag from Curious Refuge coming your way. Now, for this week's contest, I have one task for you. I want to see your best AI project that I have never seen in the comments. So blow us away with incredible AI work that we have never seen at Curious Refuge. The person to share the best AI project that we've never seen will win some merch from Curious Refuge. Midjourney last week also switched their beta website over to their main website. So now if you need to access any of the old Midjourney features, they actually put together a website at legacy.midjourney.com, where you can access some of those old features like the bulk download. Midjourney also announced a brand new tune feature that may be live by the time this video drops, but regardless, we will have a full run through this time next week. Kaiber also announced that they will be dropping a mobile app, which will be available this week. So if you want to use Kaiber to stylize any of your video, you will now be able to do that from your device. Shelby and I will be speaking at the Geneva International Film Festival this next week on Thursday, November 9th. If you just so happen to be in Geneva, we would love to see you at least virtually at the event. Apple also announced their brand new M3 chip last week inside of their MacBook Pros. Now, from watching the announcement video last week, it seems like inside some key creativity tools like Cinema 4D, the M3 chip is actually 2 times faster than the M2 chip, which is really, really interesting. However, there's some AI news in this new chip that kind of went under the radar. Essentially, using the Apple M3 chip, users will be able to run Falcon, which is an open source large language model with basically no quality loss. Essentially, this means you can run the large language model on your machine locally and not in the cloud. And in other Apple AI news, there was actually a white paper released from some of the researchers at Apple that essentially was working on a text-to-image model. I can't wait to see if we get an Apple AI image generation model soon. A team at MIT has put together an application that essentially is designed to confuse image models to prevent artists' work from being scraped and used in some of these image generation platforms. Last week, we talked about Masterpiece X over at NVIDIA that essentially can create 3D models from a prompt. There's a couple of really interesting tools that dropped that I want to showcase with you today that convert images and turn them into 3D models. So let's take a look. The first is called Wonder 3D. You can find a link to Wonder 3D by clicking the link below this video. Essentially, all you have to do is drag and drop an image. So we're gonna take this image of an owl, drag and drop it here. I'm not gonna adjust any of these parameters and click generate. This took about 20 seconds. Let's take a look at the results. So we can see that we have this owl here, and it actually understands the geometry whenever you fully go around the owl. It even added in texturing to match the feathers and the style of this specific owl. And you have the ability to use this code to download this 3D model. So this is obviously going to have huge implications as you create AI-generated artwork in the future and then convert it into 3D. Now, it will be cool to see how people pair this technology with other tools like Move AI that does automatic motion tracking, because essentially you might be able to generate a 3D model and then motion track it using a third-party tool and create lifelike animation in just a few steps. This obviously has huge implications for the future of animated film and visual effects. There's also a tool called Dreamcraft 3D that essentially does the exact same thing. The results from Dreamcraft look really amazing, and I recommend checking out that tool. They have some code over on their website that you can download and begin playing for yourself. I also want to give a shout out to Tim over at Theoretically Media for putting together a tutorial about using face fusion to swap faces inside a video. I'm gonna give you a quick demo, but if you wanna check out the full tutorial, you can check it out over on his website. So this tool is running locally on my machine. I'm using a tool called Pinocchio to run it basically inside of Google Chrome. So all you have to do is drag and drop an image. I have this one of me, so we'll drag and drop the image. We then need some footage to replace the face with. I have this clip from James Bond of Christoph Waltz. We'll go ahead and drag and drop him into our target here. And that's about it. Now you can see we have a preview frame where we can begin to see what it's going to look like. If you want, you do have the freedom to click the face enhancer to increase the quality. And once you're ready, all you have to do is hit start to render, and then your video is done. Let's take a look at our final result. I should note that I ran this video through Topaz Video to just increase the quality just a little bit. So let's go ahead and play it back. And you can see that it actually has the wrinkles in the forehead, the eyebrows, the lips. It looks really realistic. So this is the best tool for doing face swaps that I found. If you want something that's even easier to use, there's a great tool called Acool online that you can use. It uses a credit system, but it's just drag and drop, super easy to use. And now that brings us to our AI films of the week. So our first film is called The Myth, and it was actually submitted for the Runway 48-Hour Film Festival. The filmmakers were essentially spoofing the movie Signs, but in reverse. So the aliens are really worried that the humans are going to take over, and the alien kid is just super freaked out about that. The curation is really interesting, the editing is on point, and I think it's a great example of using AI for storytelling. So our next film is a little PG when it comes to blood, so you've been warned. I want to give a shout out to Giovanni for putting together this project called the Resignation Letter. Essentially, Giovanni partnered with a voiceover artist named Daniel Zabel to put together a really interesting kind of poetic Halloween-inspired project. There's fantastic editing and really good shot curation, so you did a great job with this one, Giovanni. I also want to give a shout out to Christopher for putting together this Aviary project. This film essentially is a high concept for what looks like the opening credits to a very expensive HBO drama. So really interesting job curating the shots, and the music on this one really helps to drive everything home. Great work on this project. And for our AI student project of the week, I want to give a shout out to Juan, who put together Geekfoot, which is one of the funniest AI projects I have ever seen. It's a great use of third-party tools to kind of set the scene. It uses an AI narrator that sounds absolutely fantastic. And I can tell that Chat-GPT was used a little bit in the script because it used the word enigmatic. And for some reason, I get that word a lot whenever I'm using Chat-GPT. So fantastic work, Juan. You knocked this assignment out of the park. And finally, I want to leave you with some news about how AI is being used to solve water crises around the world. Essentially, AI was deployed to South Africa to analyze big data to help them allocate water resources and identify patterns that would help with water management. It's just one of the many ways in which AI is helping to make the world a better place. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of AI Film News. Of course, if you want to get AI news delivered directly to your inbox, you can subscribe to our newsletter over at Curious Refuge. You can, of course, subscribe here to get AI news and tutorials directly inside of YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.